Sara, I'm so excited to welcome you to the One Podcast. And for everyone who has never met Sara Gilbert, I want to give you her official introduction. She is an award-winning business strategist and mindset coach and a keynote speaker, recognized as one of the top 10 up-and-coming entrepreneurs in 2023 by Success Magazine and recipient of the Most Innovative Woman in Business Development Strategy and the Best International Business Consultant in Canada at the Influential Businesswoman Awards. She is also one of the very few Canadian coaches invited by Forbes to join the Forbes Coaches Council, an honor reserved for the most eminent business coaches. She is also a member of the Harvard Business Review Advisory Council, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and the National Speakers Association in the USA. But most importantly, her mission is simple: to help entrepreneurs and leaders think differently, talk differently, and act differently so they, in return, make a difference in the world around them their way. I love that. Welcome, Sara. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pretend it's all brand new listeners. I want you to just tell them all about yourself. Tell them how you got into this and what you're most passionate about.
My first career choice was to be a kindergarten teacher. My second career choice was to become a psychologist. So today I'm a business strategist and mindset coach. That's how it happens.
Everything unfolds.
Life just brings everything when it's supposed to be. And my journey on psycholinguistic really happened when I had a meeting with a client, and it was, you give a strategy and this is what we're going to do, and they're like super happy. They're, yes, awesome, Sara, this is so great. You know, the type of feedback that you want to have.
Yes.
But the thing is, it was the third time we were having the same meeting.
Oh.
I'm like, there's something I'm not understanding.
Mm.
So as much as I had like designation and certificates and diplomas and everything, I went back to the drawing board. And that's really where I started digging into human behavior, neurolinguistic programming, neuroscience, positive intelligence, and so many other things. And in there, I've really developed a fascination and now an expertise in psycholinguistics.
I love it.
And it's really to be able to help my clients and then everyone, including myself, to be able to bring our mindset to the level where we want to have a vision, we want to have an impact. Actually, I've always wanted to be Mother Teresa.
Who didn't?
To be honest, that was my plan. But we limit ourselves. And I always knew, even for me, that there was something more, but I was just not tapping into it.
How did you really start to figure that out?
Really by listening to my clients. And slowly but surely, I was recognizing that there was patterns when they were speaking to me. And I'm like, why is it that one person can take action like this, but the other one will just procrastinate? Why is this? And then you start seeing patterns, right? And some people have this ease of taking action and making things happen, and others don't. And I started by listening, not what they were saying, but how they were saying it.
Oh, that's brilliant right there.
And that's when I realized slowly but surely that when you really listen to how somebody talks, the words that they use, the verbs that they use, how they structure their sentences, you know exactly what's going on inside.
Ooh.
Developing that second level of listening.
I think absolutely everybody on the planet needs to hear this when you are saying it that way, because I am fascinated by and love words. And I think people don't recognize the true power behind the words that come out of our mouth, how we are so unaware that we need to be intentional. Just even in casual conversation, the things that you say from the minute you wake up in the morning. But I love what you just said about the actual words, how we choose to put those together. Tell me more about that. Tell me what you started to discover.
So I'll give you a tangible example. I have a client. So linguistically and behaviorally, but linguistically, there's people who are moving towards and there's people who are moving away.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, so there's people who are moving towards a goal and there's people who are moving away from a problem. So we know this on a behavioral standpoint. But on a linguistic standpoint is also very more important. So I had a client at one point, and every time that I would bring up an idea, it's like, yes, but I want less, I want to be less busy. I want to be less overwhelmed. And I want to be less of that. Now I'm a very moving towards person in business. I'm like, perfect. So we're going to do this and that. It's going to be simpler. It's going to be faster. It's going to be more efficient. But linguistically, we were not matching. So for her, I'm pushy. And for me, she's complaining. And I almost lost her as a client because of the linguistic patterns. Because it's not complicated, it's simple, it means the same thing. It just comes from two different perspectives.
Oh, this is so good.
So when I got this, I'm like, oh, dang, I need to speak her language. I'm going to say the same thing, but in her language. So I came out, I said the same idea, the same strategy, but instead of more of, saying, this will be less of. You'll be less busy. You'll be less overwhelmed.
This is so brilliant. Now, the question that popped in my head as you were saying that, obviously, if you're going to be very focused in your listening, you can do this better when you have existing clients. What about people that are just barely starting to get clients? In order to market in the proper way, you want to be listening to what they're saying, but it's a little challenging when you're not having all of these conversations. How did you discover that as you were building your business, as you were bringing on new clients? How did you learn to interpret to their language so quickly?
Well, it takes time for overnight success. It takes time.
Right. Years upon
Let's be
years
honest.
upon years.
But when I teach this, first recommendation I make to people is don't do it in your business.
Practice
Your
it.
best experience is in your personal life.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Do it with your family, your friends. So I'll give you an example. My son is a very towards person. And several years ago, we had to have it to go to the dentist to have a baby tooth removed, whatever. And it was getting infections and everything. But every time he would get a needle, he would faint. So obviously we go to the dentist. The dentist like, I need to put a needle in him. He's having a fit. This is not gonna happen. And I'm like, dude, you got to get this done because if you don't do it, you won't be able to go at the tournament, and your team won't be with you. And at one point, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's towards. So I shifted the way that I was positioning the message. And then I'm like, and when you're ready to go to the dentist, you let me know. And he's like, let's go.
Ah, brilliant.
So the first thing is don't do something new in a new environment. Do something new in a comfortable environment.
That you're familiar with.
Reduce the variables.
Yes. So you can
So,
practice, not do a lot of damage. Okay.
yes. Listen to your spouse, listen to your kids, listen to your friends.
I'm loving this. And
Listen to
so,
your
okay, I want you to say more on that really quick before we go further. So there is a towards and an against.
there's
Towards and
and
away.
away.
Towards and away.
And the population's a 50-50.
Oh, so
And you will be
interesting.
towards and away in different roles. So I'm very moving towards in business, and in other places in my life that in many different roles, I'll be away.
Okay.
So just to pay attention first how you
Speak.
think and speak to yourself.
Okay.
And when you and then pay attention to the other people.
So
And
we are a
then
combination of
the
both.
practice is before speaking the next time, you stop. Is this person towards or away? And then frame it that way. You're going to see the same thing just from a different angle. The person, you're actually speaking their language.
And so if we are towards or away, and each of us are a combination of both, this can be conversation specific. So for example, you're mainly towards in business, but like when you were dealing with your son and he's mainly towards, you knew in that conversation, I need to be speaking from a towards point of view. But there are parts of you that are away. We first just start looking at ourselves and
That's
recognizing,
always the first thing.
and we start recognizing where am I more towards in my language and in my thoughts, and where am I more away in my language and my thoughts. Okay. And then we can
It's like
start.
which role that I play.
I
My
love.
role as a mother, my role as a husband, or my role as a spouse, my role as a friend, my role as an entrepreneur, and all of these different hats that I wear.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see we're not always the same.
Okay.
So the first is understand the theory. The second step is always self-awareness. And then the third step is action.
Definitely. So do you
Like,
recommend, as you're getting to know yourself, do you recommend like journaling on this, just being aware, practicing language in a mirror? Like, what can people do? First, we just need to pay attention, really start to pay attention to the language the thoughts we're having first, and then the
yes.
language that comes out of our mouths.
Well, think of anything that you want to reach or you want to
Mhm.
do. How do you see it?
Yeah,
What's the result going to be of it? Is it something I will get more of, or is it something I will have less of?
more of and less of. That's key. Okay.
And just something that you want or decision that you recently made. You bought your new car. Why did you choose this car? Oh, because it was, less expensive on gas. It was easy to park. It had performance. You're going to see how you made a decision.
Ah, I love this.
And that gives you a guideline of, oh, okay. And with somebody else, you can ask the same thing. It's like, how did you choose that car? Oh, because it was cheap, because it was efficient. It will give you a good idea of the thinking pattern of
Oh,
someone.
so let's take it out of a business structure. Let's go something as simple as, let's say we've got someone listening who wants to lose weight. So they're going to start paying attention to the ways that they talk to themselves, the things that come out of their mouth, and they recognize, okay, if I'm a towards person, then I'm going to be looking for the outcome of what I will, as I see, get when I reach that goal.
Yes, and probably somebody who's a more moving towards will probably say, I want to get fit
Yes.
instead of I don't want to lose weight.
Ah,
Instead of I want to
yes,
lose weight.
because that's a way I'm loving this. I want to get fit
I
versus
want to get
I want to
fit.
lose
I want
weight.
to fit in my pants that I bought 5 years ago.
Ah,
I
so
want to be
interesting.
sexy.
Yeah, I want to
The
look
other one's gonna be
hot.
I want to lose weight so I can be sexy.
I want to wear that really beautiful dress on this beautiful vacation. They've got that
Exactly.
end goal in mind. Where the away
And golden
is,
mind, and the other one wants to move away from problems
okay,
or situations that they do not.
I don't want to
So I
feel
want to
this
lose
way
weight
anymore.
versus I want to get fit. What they're gonna do is the same thing. So a trainer would give the same program, just position it differently.
I am loving every word of this. This is
So this
so
is where
fascinating.
yes, and people sometimes get it wrong because they're like, oh, it's manipulation. No, it's caring enough to speak in somebody else's language.
Yes, yes. And
So
speaking to
I'm
yourself.
bilingual. I
Yeah,
speak French and English. If I go somewhere and I'm speaking English and I see that the person is speaking French, I will speak French because I care.
I loved that. So it's listening and caring. And I love that you say so clearly, we want to focus on ourselves first because we need to be the most loving and caring to ourselves. So watching that language coming out of our mouths, the thoughts out of our mouths, and beginning with the own self-care and self-love, even just doing that will start to transform the relationships around us.
Yeah, and we both know that nothing happens without self-awareness.
Hmm.
So the way that I see it is like it's self-awareness, self-honesty, self-leadership.
Self-awareness, self-honesty, self-leadership. Okay, so like you were saying, be aware of yourself first, practice these, and then as you start that, work in your safe environment, work with your family and your friends, be really aware. And then now say we're getting that down and we want to start to apply this in our business. Um,
Listen,
Real listening. Because there's levels to listening that people just, oh, I listened to that.
no, people
You're not.
hear,
Yes.
they don't listen.
Mhm.
Listen is active, hearing is passive. So listen.
Truly listen. Yep.
So on a one-on-one basis, then I will actually self-awareness. I know my style. I know I'm discovering the other person's style. I will speak to them in their language. Now,
Mhm.
if we come to a one-to-many approach, social media posts, websites, and things like that, it still applies,
Yes. Tell
but
us
it's
more.
a 50-50. So again, if I'm a moving towards person, I will tend to write my social media post, my website content, all in a moving towards language. But you want to have a move 50% that's moving away.
Yes. So
So
that
you
you're
want more of this, less of that.
so you're
More
attracting
of this,
both types of clients, speaking to both types of clients,
so they
speaking the
can
language.
connect. This is where that self-awareness is so important because we don't realize it that we always put it in one pattern.
Mm.
but we're missing out on 50% of the population.
Yes, they're not connecting because it's
They're
not their
not, because
language.
no, it's like this. It's like I'm speaking French and you're speaking English. There we go.
And yet it doesn't, for some, I'm still thinking that we're both speaking English, but I'm just not connecting with you. And so this is what, so when clients actually approach you, they have no idea that this is what's going on. They normally say, I want you to help me with, I'm not connecting with, I need help with that. And then it turns into these beautiful conversations.
It does. So people come into my world for their business strategy,
Mm,
but they stay in my world for all the invisible, the
yes.
mindset, the human behavior, the pattern, the linguistic.
Love
So
that.
this is the way that I see it. Humans were always seeking an emotion. Okay, that's the only
Mhm.
thing humans are doing all the time. We're always seeking an emotion. Words crystallize emotion. So it puts it from the invisible world to the visible world, for the intangible world to the tangible world. So now I have the words that crystallize emotions. With those words, I'll make up stories. I'll make a story with that. A story, as much as I repeat a story, becomes a belief. Beliefs guide our behaviors,
Yes.
and behaviors give us our results.
You are speaking my language. I got you on this. Keep going.
So we are in a world that we're working on behavior all the time, when really, when we go at the root of it, then we're shedding light on the linguistic, which is shedding light on what's really happening. So somebody who says, I've been trying to go to the gym for like 7 years. They have the gym membership, they have the trainer, they have the clothes that's all folded on the foot, right in next to their bed because that's a strategy. But there's a belief in there
Mhm.
that's preventing them from doing it. And
Yeah.
this is the link of psycholinguistics, is the words, how they influence the behavior. Hey, I have a client, she wanted to do YouTube videos.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I want to grow my business and I want to start doing YouTube videos. I'm like, okay, so what does a normal person do? Perfect. What's the message? How are you gonna do it? Which channel are you gonna do it? And all the doing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's all great. What's the story behind it? And I'm like, are you doing it now? She said, no. I'm like, perfect. What's the story behind it? And then we dig. Turns out that it needs to be perfect because if it's not perfect, people will judge me.
Yep.
So do you think even if she has the best strategy and all the equipment in the world, she's going to do it? She's never going to do it. As long as the story that it has to be perfect, because otherwise people will judge me. Because the biggest human fear is not death. We all know we're going to die. What we're afraid of is when and how. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
That's the per. We're all going to know. What the real fear that humans have is rejection. So if I'm judged, I'm rejected. So as a protection mechanism, I will give myself the identity of a perfectionist,
I
which
resonate.
justifies my
Yes.
procrastination, hesitation, and whatever, which means that I will not do the videos and I will not get that visibility.
Exactly.
So it's not a question of equipment,
Nope. But we
it's
make
a
it
question.
about that. So for
Yes,
all of us procrastinators, there you go, right there. There's a reason
yes,
we're procrastinating.
yes.
And
Because
keep going.
time management has nothing to do with time. Time management is emotional management in disguise. I say yes when I want to say no. I say no when I want to say yes.
Yes. Because
That's time management problem.
so it even goes because I'm seeing how we were talking about, okay, we come up with this strategy, but we have to go backwards all the way to the thoughts and the words. But I think we hadn't pointed out that it's not just the thoughts and the words, it's those thoughts and words combined create a subconscious story we're not even seeing. If I was sitting around practicing this on my own at home, I could start to be aware of, okay, am I towards or away? What words are coming out of my mouth? What am I saying all the time? Oh, so if I'm saying that, I'm thinking this, but I'm still going to have the hidden thoughts and beliefs back here because that's not as easy to find. So you help with all of
That's a
that.
belief. I'll leave that one to you.
Yes, right. Oh, yes. So I have created the belief that that's not as easy to find. Mm,
Exactly.
well,
Because the only thing that comes out of our mouth of everyone are beliefs.
yes, yes, so
It's
true.
hard. It's complicated. It's easy.
Yeah.
Those are all beliefs.
So the words actually hint at the belief.
Exactly. I have to do this. I should do this instead of I could do that.
So there's ways people can figure out some of these subconscious beliefs. I know a lot of great mentorship is based on digging through what we think we can't find. And sometimes you need that. In my work, I like to say I get to have that beautiful helicopter view. I get to pull above what you're swimming in and what you're surrounded in that you think that you can't find your way through, or there's too many emotions tied up to it. But since I'm not emotionally involved, I can do this helicopter view above you and look down on it, unemotionally attached, and be able to see it just from a different perspective.
And we can grab it. So somebody that says, oh, I'll try to do that. On a brain perspective, try means failure. We all know somebody who tried to go to the gym.
Yes.
So I'll try to do that. It's like, okay, there's a trigger. There's an alarm there for us to say, hey, hold on, let's check that one out.
Yes.
Like I'll work on that.
Okay.
I should do that. I have to do that.
Right. Right.
These are words that we want to pick up because that signals something much deeper than that. Like we think words are just letters we cram together and we just throw them out there. But words are an emotion, a belief that's packaged together.
Oh, so true. I love words. Love words. Well, and I like to empower certain words and then the ones that we have given power to that shouldn't have that type of power. I like to deconstruct what we've put into that, make it a little bit less powerful. So, okay, and I don't know why I chose the specific of fitness. Give us an example of someone who is a towards person. If we're wanting to get back recommitted, let's say they did want to now, I want to get fit. How do we encourage or shift that tweak to a true connection that will motivate? And same thing for someone who's an away person. How do they reword it?
A really interesting, because you want to see what's behind the words. So you understand the pattern, the linguistic patterns moving towards and away. That's a language. So you understand that. Perfect. So somebody says, I want to get fit. Then you ask, you want to get fit? Yes, but. And ask them to complete the question, the sentence. You will get the fears, the patterns, the beliefs, why they would, all the reasons why they would sabotage themselves. Okay. I want to get fit, but it's going to take away for it's going to take time. Okay, but it's going to take I need to find a gym, and then you let them go, and then we go, like, just let it unpack, because the more we unpack, we actually go from here to really what's happening.
Yes, head to
but
the
I'm
heart.
going to be less with my kids. But my husband would need to take them for at school, whatever. But everything you want is on the other side of that.
And is that both for towards and away people? Okay, perfect.
I want to lose weight, but because the word towards and away, it's a linguistic style, it's a language. Now, when we dig deeper in terms of human behavior, then we say, okay, but.
Yes.
And then you'll get all the stories and belief. And we do it for ourselves. I do it for myself all the time. I want to do something. Then I'm like, okay, let's sit down. And then I write, I'm like, but. And okay, but this, but that, but this, but that. And then as you go down, then you get the real reason why we sabotage ourselves.
Yes, yes.
So there's an emotional quest that we're all on. And when we actually see a pattern, when we do this exercise regularly on different situation, we see that there's a pattern. So there's an emotional quest that we're on, everyone. And there's a story around that. I'm not safe. I don't matter. I'm not enough.
I'm not safe. I don't matter. I'm not enough.
So let's bring this back in the example of fitness. I'm going to the gym. The scheduling part and gym and whatever, things that frivols that are not really a part, but if I'm not there in the morning and my partner takes the kids, well, maybe they won't need me anymore, and I'm going to feel like I don't matter. Or am I going to go to the gym if I have that belief deep down? So this is where the language is so important, because it's taking that thing like, oh, I'm trying to do this, but it's never working. Well, there's so many things to unpack behind that. that to bring it into awareness. And then self-honesty is like, am I ready to let that go? Self-honesty is like, am I ready? Am I done doing this? Am I done with this story? You know, so self-honesty is like, is that true? Do I want to believe that? What do I want to believe instead? And then you step into self-leadership.
Perfect.
And even if you go back in a pattern of playing victim or whatever, you're doing it from an awareness place, not an
Yes.
unaware. Like, okay, I know right now I'm doing like the wah, wah. Okay, that's fine. I'm allowed to be a child sometimes.
Yes.
And okay, let's move on. But
Well,
it's from
and
an
we have to expect
empowered place, a self-leadership place.
And so have you seen that someone, so obviously as we're diving back in and we're connecting and we're figuring it out, we're getting to these emotional beliefs in our heart, that if we're like we were using, if I was talking with you about the fitness goal, but I get in there and I start to dig in and I find, oh, these are the beliefs in my heart. If I start to heal that one, then do we also see that ripple effect of it now starting to flourish in my business and flourish in my relationships? And yet my main intention had been to discuss my fitness. Or you're seeing
Because how
that
do we
too?
do one thing is how do we do everything?
Right,
I love that
right.
saying because it's
Yes.
true. And the one thing that we tend to see to do as humans as a protection mechanism, the first protection mechanism is separation. Yes, but for me, it's not the same. Yes, but for me, it's not the same. Yes, but, and then what people will tend to do, again, as a protection mechanism, is like, yes, but it's not the same in my business. But
Yeah.
the reality is the strategy, we use it one place, we use it somewhere else.
Ah,
So there we want to ask, okay, so what's the same? When in my life somewhere that if I want to start doing videos for my business and it's new and I'm afraid of being judged, and where in my life have I done something new and it worked
yes.
out? Then I can take that strategy and take it there.
Oh,
So we know that we're going to sabotage ourselves. There's a part of us that knows it. How we can catch it is by what we're saying, either to ourselves or to others.
so we need to catch it with what we're actually saying. We don't quite
Yes,
catch it
because
back here. Oh, okay. Keep
because
going.
that's the words are the tangible of the subconscious. So there's a fear in there, and sometimes we get to a point where we verbalize the fear, and we're like, that really does not make any sense. And the smarter we are, the more logical the excuses are.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'll do some bookkeeping. I'll do some more research instead of, calling a potential client and going out there. And it's all rational. So the smarter we are, the more layers we have. I was like, how do I get that? But it's like, I should, I have to, I'll try. Yes, but these are all words that we want to start catching. The I am, on the brain perspective, everything that follows I am is a command for the brain. I am busy. Being busy is very glorified. So the brain will always do to stay in alignment with the identity that we gave ourselves. So to start paying attention to your I am statement
Oh,
is such a revealing thing.
one of my favorite things. You have to be so aware. Even when like I was saying how I was sick last week, I caught myself saying I have strep throat. And then I thought, nope, no, I have been experiencing strep throat and I am in the process of healing. And I just kept reminding myself, I'm in the process of healing. I'm in the process of healing. My body is healing and I love it. It's doing everything it can to take care of itself. But it was so interesting because when you're in the middle of something, I am this, I am busy, I am, oh, there's so many. I am, take that
Yes.
quick pause before you even finish the sentence with what you're
Yes.
saying.
And sometimes it's the other way around, is to start. So a
Mm.
few months ago, I'm at an event, a spiritual event, and somebody comes in front of me and says, "You're Sara Gilbert." I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, I saw you on talk on the stage, da, 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 da. And it was like the cutest thing ever. Like, it was amazing. I just loved it. I just loved her energy. It was just, but the woman next to me, she looks at me and she goes, like, who are you? And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I give talks. Like I said, I give conferences. When I go home that night and I'm like, huh, how interesting. I did not say I am a speaker. I said, I give talks. I give conferences.
Yes.
And I'm like, as I'm at a point in my own business where I'm focusing more on giving more talks, I need to own that identity.
Like you're saying, we have a tendency to downplay instead of empower because it feels awkward. If you'd turned to the other lady and said, well, I speak on stages and I give talks all over the world and it just seems so unnatural. And yet, how important and how empowering that is in every aspect. I'm an
Yes.
incredible mother. I have this beautiful business I just started building. I'm a business owner. I am an excellent girlfriend. I am loving my relationship.
And this is why, like, the own identity. So there's places of our identity that we're ready to let go, and there's
Mhm.
places in our identity we need to step up. Which one do I need to let go, and which one is it time now for me to step up? And I love how you said, I have a beautiful business. I'm with a client and he's talking and he's got quite the business. And he's like, Hosea, I've got a small business, which is not a small business, but that's okay. It's like, I have a small business. I'm like, you have a beautiful business. You have a
Yes.
boutique business. You have a boutique approach.
Yes.
So this is where also the sophistication and the richness of the words that we use is important.
I'm so glad you said that. I know that we're getting somewhat close to the end, so I want to actually there is one thing I want to come right back to that, but there was one thing
Yes.
I went digging through your social media and I thought this was so beautiful. You recently wrote a love letter to your business. Tell us a little bit more about this.
So our businesses, it's not just what gives us money. It's the vehicle for our life purpose.
Ooh,
That's why we became entrepreneurs. We have a mission and we put a vehicle that is called a business. That's the vehicle that we carry that mission with. When, like everyone else, I was busy being busy. And at one point, I sat down and I'm like, I'm ready to really step into my mission. I had the story, I was a single mom, and then I'm like, I'm done. Self honesty. Like self leadership was like, okay, what if I wrote a letter to my business?
mm,
The way that we write a letter to the universe.
right. Yes.
What's a gratitude list? And these are love letters to the universe. And I'm like, but my business is also an entity.
A living, breathing entity
Yes.
with
And
frequency
it
and
wasn't
energy.
like, oh, I'm so grateful for you. And then I could have, but I'm like, no, what I really needed to say to my business is I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like, I'm sorry I put you on hold. I'm sorry I was, put busyness on top of that. And it's a love letter is not just, I love you. You're awesome.
yeah.
It's also, I love you and I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And for me, writing that letter, sorry, for me, writing that letter is writing a letter to me
Yes. Yes.
because my business is my legacy. It's the vehicle that I'm using to make a difference, to matter, to be enough, to be safe. And okay, now it's time
Oh,
for me to go to that infamous next level. And it's interesting because some people are like, dang, like you already have a beautiful business. Yeah, you know what? I know. I know that I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
oh.
I know it.
And it's
Nobody else can take me that
yes.
but me.
And it's not that it isn't enough where it is, it's that your soul knows it's meant to reach more people. I love that you
Yes.
had said this is your legacy. Part of my brand, The One Woman, is make your mark, leave your legacy. And the whole point of starting this podcast was like you and I already know, you are the one and I
Mhm.
am the one. And so I thought I want to put a place together where people can really own I am the one, like I am in touch with part of my mission in life. I'm in touch with part of the legacy I want to create. And yes, this can change over time and transition over time. For some people, it's so clear and they stay on that mission and it expands. And then for others, we write part of our story at a certain age and then it's beautiful and complete. And then we move on to another part of our story. I love that you just did that. And I hope that listeners recognize I could sit down at any point in time and write a love letter to myself, a love letter to my partner, a love letter to my business, a love letter to my children. It will also help you with your thoughts and your language. You'll notice what you're saying and then put that energy into it to see what are the words and the thoughts coming out of my mouth onto this page, and then how do I truly feel about that? I'm recommitting to this loving connection I have with you, which is strengthening that I am the one. I'm reconnecting so deeply to my mission in my business, in my relationship, as a mother, as a friend. My hope for anyone who hears a podcast or a YouTube is that they start to recognize, okay, there's another person out there who felt something and started on their steps forward to connecting with their mission and their passion. And if they're doing it and they're the one, then I could do it and I'm the one. I would love for you to fully claim in that energy of you are the one. What do you know in your soul right now that is so true for you about your mission? You are, what feels good to say to that?
I've always known that I was here to do great things.
Ah,
I didn't know how, I didn't know, but at some point, being the one is not something that happens to us, it's something that we claim.
mm,
So at one point, and it's really recent that I said, you know what? Psycholinguistic language, human behavior, and seeing that so much more is possible, that's my route.
yes,
There was no like the sky parting out and like going, oh, that's it. No, that's not. It's something that we claim. And that love letter to my business is me claiming it.
yes,
I am the one. Because on my deathbed, it's me with me,
yes.
asking myself, did I give it everything I got?
So I am the one who is here to do big things. I am the one who knows language inside and out. I am the one who can help you to recognize those patterns. I am the one who has mastered this, who's so passionate about it. I am the one who's going to help not only businesses, but every individual that crosses my path to see and recognize that. You know these things already.
And I am the one to show that so much more is possible.
I love this. I love this. So, how do people find you? Tell us a little bit about how they can connect with you. I know you're on LinkedIn, you're on all of those. Tell me your favorite ways for people to find you.
They can find me on every platform on my website, saragilbert.coach. I change my newsletter every quarter or something like that. Right
Oh,
now, we have a 3-2-1 go where there's a tip to think differently, speak differently, and act differently.
get on that newsletter, everyone.
3-2-1 go because ideas are nice, execution is better. And that's my role.
It's
So my website is the place where you can get a lot of things that are actually not on social.
fantastic. And then can they find offers on how to work with you there as well?
I have one-on-one coaching, but I also have different programs that people can tap into either for their mindset, their own language, their influence,
Mm,
or their business on a strategy part. So it's, when I say think differently, speak differently, and act differently so you can make a difference your way,
yes.
that's my mission.
I had no idea how much I was going to love every word of it you just said. So you are not just business strategist and mindset coach. You truly are the potentialist. You allow people to see their potentials. You allow us to be more aware. I mean, you really are so powerful. I mean, oh, this is so valuable to anyone who comes across it. I
And
love it.
that's the difference between potential and potentiality. Potential is what you can see.
Mm,
Potentiality is what I see
that helicopter
for
view.
you.
Oh,
Yes.
I loved this. I have appreciated having you here. There's so much more I would love to talk about, but thank you so much for being on this, and we will see you again soon.